Welcome back, everyone, to the Great War, the Western Front. I have gone through a couple of months of gameplay to get ourselves to where we're ready to get those tanks that we've been after. The Russians are dropping out of the war, which is obviously of great benefit to Germany, but the U.S. is going to enter the war, which will be of great benefit to the Allies. So now is the time. We've got a nice boost in national will over the enemy, but the Americans will be starting to arrive very soon. So let's go ahead and get our first tanks and see what we can do now. Iron Beasts, there we go. Let's see what's going on here. Another bonus to national will, the Mark IV tank. So what do we got to do now? Is there something we need to do to purchase those? Yes, we do. So tank battalion will give us 3 Sturmpanzerwagons and 1 Flakpanzer with research. Units to be delivered probably up here. Yep. So Metz is where we're going to be attacking from. I'm actually going to purchase a couple more of these battalions. Put them in some key spots where I know there's fighting going on. I didn't actually want to send both of them there, but that'll work for now. And I don't think we'll be able to attack with those yet. So we'll have to wait one more turn before we make use of that. Okay, so here's our situation. We've got to take all of this to knock down a star. We've already exploded a bomb on this battlefield here, which makes A a little easier to take because there's not a lot in the way of defenses unless he builds more, which he certainly might. So we're actually going to put a mine here. I'd love to put it closer to C, but it won't let us do that. So this is the best we can do. We can affect 3 trench lines there, but you can see how they're extended all the way down. So honestly, you know what? That might not be the best idea, because if we take this trench line here, we can actually just use that to attack the other ones. I might be better off to save those points and use artillery instead. I've also got 5 tanks in position ready to go for when the time comes. I've got to try and figure out where I can place this artillery, though. Okay, so here we go. We've got a mix of a few conscript units with a bunch of regular infantry units. We're going to go right at A. I have 1,000 in supply, so there's a lot I can do here. And that includes the ability to send out an air mission, which in this case, I'm going to send the air mission out just so I can kind of see what's going on over here, because I didn't choose to do a balloon this time around. And we're going to send our tanks straight up and at this position, and then in behind them we'll start sending the infantry in. He may have artillery, so we'll have to be a little bit careful of that. Plane's gonna go first. They're gonna hopefully give me a little sense of what's going on over here. Oh, it's interesting. The planes actually are not allowing me to see anything, so that's pretty much pointless. We're gonna get our first glimpse of what's going on because of the tanks. Alright, we do have artillery here, so let's try to avoid that, even though we're already getting some suppression from it. Trying to avoid the artillery as much as I can. Good news is the artillery's not coming at the tanks. Alright, we've got mortars here. So we're going to definitely go ahead and drop some artillery down on that location. I think the tanks are going to take out that front line trench, but we'll use some artillery on it anyway. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and send our infantry up here in behind the tanks. And that should allow us to go ahead and take these first trenches. Now I'm curious whether or not we can call in more tanks. Yeah, it looks like we still can get 4 more, but they're going to be 120 each, whereas they were only 60, because everything's half price when you do it beforehand. Oh, this is beautiful. I've got tanks on both sides of the trench now, and they are just pouring fire down into those trenches. Doesn't look like I can... Oh, I can. I can get grenades down in on those guys, so perfect. Alright, I'm going to pause for a second, because there's a lot I need to kind of organize now. Boy, these tanks are so helpful in taking these trenches. Boy, it makes a big difference. I got to be careful about his artillery, though. We'll go ahead and start dropping some artillery on him. I don't see any men here, but I'm sure they're in there. And we've certainly got the supplies. Oh, we don't want gas. Alright, let's hold the infantry back. Alright, while we're doing that, this tank's taking a lot of damage already. I'm going to hold at least one tank back. Now let's go ahead and start sending these guys up. Haven't lost any infantry yet. Oh yeah, get wrecked. Love it. These things are just killing these entrenched units. Amazing. So much easier. So now we are... Oh, we're hitting some artillery here, so that's going to cause some problems, but I'm not too worried about it. Once we take the command trench here in the back and we deal with these guys, we'll start thinking about the final objective, which is going to be the toughest one. A couple of these tanks, I guess, are too far away to be able to actually do anything. We will have to call in some reinforcements pretty soon as we start losing some units. Excuse me, man. Okay, we've got plenty of units that are kind of still just chilling out here. I think we need to turn sideways. That might be part of the issue. We need to turn sideways to get the machine guns in a place where they can actually hit these guys. We're actually not firing at all. Why is that, I wonder? He's firing at me, but I'm really not firing back at his. Just lost one of the tanks. There we go. We're about to take the command trench. I think these guys might be out of my range. Yeah, they are. Alright, we're going to start moving over. Start getting into position to advance on the final trenches. Why have we not taken his command trench yet? Probably because he's got guys in range. Get more artillery going. Honestly, for now, we're going to keep throwing back his counterattack, because the more men he sends out of his trenches at me, the less I have to face when I go into those final trenches. Alright, let's go in and finish these guys off. They're firing on my tank. Beautiful. Making my job so much easier by attacking me. We're still trying to finish off these command trenches. I think every time he sends men in close, it delays us being able to do that. There it is. We finally got it. Alright, let's send in some reinforcements to get ready for the last trench that we have to take. Oh man, I forgot we have to take B as well. So we've actually still got quite a work ahead of us here. Quite a bit of work ahead of us. So let's go ahead towards C now. We'll lead with the tanks. We do have reinforcement units coming in because a lot of these units are fairly depleted, but we've already depleted most of his strength. Alright, let's get some artillery going here. Probably not even going to need it. He's got some elites over here. Let's hit them. There's a machine gun. Let's hit that. Actually, there's two machine guns. So let's suppress both of those as best we can. Let the tanks do their thing while we did just lose another tank, but that's okay. We can call in more if we need to. We're drawing all their fire. Honestly, though, what I should be doing while these tanks are taking all this fire is that I should be sending in some of these depleted units. Let them get in on the action, and then we can replace them.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Bereit machen. In Stellung gehen. Befehle gehen ein. Wir brechen auf.
There's kind of a mistake on my part not having the infantry following in real close behind the tanks. I basically left the tanks out there to take fire without any real purpose to it because the infantry wasn't there to exploit it. Take me some time to get used to using tanks together with infantry. He's going to send them into the bunker, so I won't be able to hit them. Okay, we've taken everything but B. Now we move on B, which is his largest complex of trenches. Let's hold back the infantry a little bit until we can get the tanks in there. The tanks that are left anyway. Alright, there's a machine gun right there. Let's eliminate that real quick before it does too much damage to us.
neue Befehle. Bewegt euch.
Drop these guys into the trench. Tanks are coming. Here comes our grenades to very quickly deal with that machine gun. Alright, we've got a glimpse of what else is back here now, so. No available. There we go. We don't have any available artillery at the moment, but that's okay. We're losing a lot of these men though, so we're gonna have to send in another wave. Let's go ahead and start getting that ready. And how about another tank? Take advantage of our artillery. Alright, tank, get up there. This should be the wave that does it. And mind you, this was a battle that it said on auto-resolve was going to be a stalemate. But the tanks are game changers. They requested to surrender. Alright, we'll take it. Saves us from having to lose any more men, and it does what we wanted it to, which is to remove a star. We do it one more time, we take the territory. And I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to do that with the exact same strategy next time around. More importantly, it's a massive swing in expenditures and in, of course, those ever so important points that are going to determine the outcome of this war. Okay, we're going to go for some further tank technology. Gives us the Flak Panzer. We're going to go ahead and try to complete the trap now. If we can win another battle at Bar-le-Duc, we will have Saint-Menehould and Verdun surrounded. There's not a lot of guys in Saint-Menehould for the British. There's more in there for Verdun, but the most important thing about Verdun is that it's heavy fortified and it's really hard to take, but if we cut it off, hopefully we can more quickly reduce the national will. So let's go ahead and try to complete the trap. Okay, slightly different strategy this time. Obviously it's the same battlefield. This time we're going to go with 4 artillery. We're going to have 6 tanks again, which is the max we can use. But we're going to go straight at B. And we're going to start by blowing up. The only spot it would let me put a mine on B is right in this spot here. So we'll blow up his right side, our left side on that. We're going to send the tanks straight in to go right through this barbed wire, and then we're just going to assault this position as quickly as we can. See how it works. Okay, he has already started firing his artillery, so let's do a couple of things here. Number 1, let's blow the mine. Ah, why did it go off the screen? That's exactly what I wanted to see. Okay, so we blew the mine. Next thing is we send the tanks forward, right through the barbed wire. And in right behind them, we're going to send the infantry. He's already using his artillery, which means hopefully he won't be able to
Bereit für Befehle.
fire
Wir brechen
now.
auf.
And then, of course, now we need to use our artillery, particularly on these rear positions. I probably could have used gas there, but
Bereit.
we won't worry about it.
Los geht's. Warte auf Befehle. Bereit machen. Setzt sie unter Dampf.
All right, let's pause here. I want to make sure that I'm getting everybody sent forward that I need to be.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Bewegt euch. Befehle gehen ein. Vorwärts. Bereit für Befehle. Rückt zu
Got
dieser
a
Position
lot of
vor.
fire coming in on these tanks.
Bereit. Wir brechen auf. Warten auf Befehle. Diese Stellung gehört bereit machen. Wir müssen diese Stellung
So I'm going to kind of do this in slow motion because I want to micromanage as much as I can here.
Warte auf Befehle. Los geht's. Bereit machen.
The machine guns are definitely doing their jobs
Befehle gehen ein. Vorwärts.
on these tanks.
Achtung, in Stellung gehen. Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit an der Linie. An die Linie.
All right, I'm going to pause again because I want to move some of these tanks up to where they're firing on these rear trenches now,
Befehle.
since we don't have artillery at the moment available to us.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuerstellung einnehmen. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. In Stellung gehen. Befehle gehen ein. Wir brechen auf. Bereit für Befehle.
I'm not sure why some of these tanks aren't moving.
Achtung! Bereit an der Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit. Setzt sie unter Data auf Befehle.
We destroyed the winch truck, which means we took down his balloon.
Warten auf Befehle. An die Linie. Bereit machen. Feuerstellung einnehmen.
All right, I think we have pretty successfully taken B without too much trouble, mostly thanks to our tanks. I think we'll save A for last. We're gonna need to start going for C. They're starting to hit our tanks there, and we're not in a position to start going after that one yet. I need to kind of try to consolidate my position here first. So let's pull the tanks back a little bit. Okay, we're gonna start moving in. I'm gonna gas the rear area of C. Let's go ahead and drop some artillery on some of these areas too.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit, los geht's. Warten
Now
auf
let's
Befehle.
move on the trenches.
Bereit machen.
All right, he just did a number on a couple of our tanks, and he's about to take out a third one.
Achtung, wir können hier nicht gewinnen.
So I might have been a little too bold in my strategy here. I should have probably been more cautious like I was last time. I think I took for granted the power of the tanks. All right, we're coming at C from the other side because that's where the reinforcements were. Got to try and hurry up and cover the ground to the trenches as quickly as we can, but he's got some elite units here, so that's a problem. He's also got a machine gun back there. This is not going well. We may have to wait another turn. I feel like I've exhausted a lot of my supply here. Yeah, I think we're going to do a ceasefire and wait another turn. All right, we're going to go back to our original strategy. Go after A first, work our way around, make it a little easier. Because if we take something easy first, then he probably counterattacks to try and take it back,
Bereit für Befehle.
which makes our job much easier.
Wir brechen auf. Warte auf Befehle. Los geht's. Bereit machen. Setzt sie unter Dach. Befehle gehen ein. Vorwärts. Bereit für Befehle.
I'm going to hold at least one of the tanks back.
Bereit. Wir haben neue Befehle.
They do get a morale boost. That's the little blue that you see on our guys, is that when they're in the command radius of one of those tanks, there's a morale boost that we get. And I did unlock some research that gives an even greater, like a 50% greater aura for that.
Bewegt euch. Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle.
Oh, look at him coming at me. Oh, make my job even easier. Appreciate that. All right, we've got a bunch of mortars, but no infantry to speak of, really, with this. So let's get these guys suppressed and damaged.
Warte auf Befehle. Rückt zu dieser Position vor. Bereit
They
machen.
do cause more damage to the
Befehle gehen ein. Los geht's.
tanks than infantry are able to do. Oh, here comes his artillery.
Bereit. Vorwärts.
All right, let's pause for a second. Bring in some more. Ah, that one snapped off of the target that I intended for it.
Warte auf Befehle. Unser Ziel steht fest. Bereit machen. Rückt zu dieser Position vor. Befehle gehen ein. Wir brechen auf. Bereit für Befehle.
Oh man, those mortars did a number on our tanks, I'll say that. I didn't bring up the infantry quite soon enough.
Achtung.
Still something I've got to do better at.
Gehört uns. Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir müssen diese Stellung halten. Die Generäle wollen diesen Abschnitt haben. Wir haben neue Befehle. An die Linie. Warten auf Befehle.
Thankfully, the infantry can very quickly dispatch with those mortars.
Bereit.
But I basically lost all three of those tanks that I sent forward.
Bereit machen. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Achtung, in Stellung gehen. Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit an der Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle. An die Linie.
Okay, so I'm withdrawing the two tanks that are almost destroyed just because it'll save me on the points that I lose by not having those tanks destroyed. Oh, I hate when it does that. It they snap around, you see? And if I click at the wrong moment and it snaps off, it messes up where I drop the artillery.
Bereit machen. Wir brechen auf. Befehle gehen ein. Los geht's. Achtung.
Alright, we've got to get the infantry up
Feuerstellung einnehmen.
right behind these tanks. I already kind of messed that up.
Warten auf Befehle. Wir halten hier die Stellung gehen. Bereit machen. Diese Stellung gehört uns.
Positionen vorbereiten, klar machen, Feuer!
Achtung! Bereit an der Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle. An die Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuerstellung einnehmen.
Alright, give me a little more artillery on
Feuert auf diese Stellung!
these elites here.
Für Reichsfeuerweite, Feuer!
We got a lot of elite British infantry right here. Thankfully, I've got tanks right there.
Warten auf Befehle. Feuerstufe bereit machen. Bereit für Befehle. Setzt sie unter Dach. Achtung! In Stellung gehen.
Bereit für Feuerbefehle! Für Feuerweite prüfen!
Try to drop some artillery on these guys in the open.
Befehle. Bereit an der Linie.
Perfect. Keep counterattacking me. Make my job easier. We'll start moving down these long trenches. Problem is we are going to be out of tanks before we can go after these last two. Okay, we're fighting off some French infantry that came at us in the trenches. We're trying to take the command trench, but we might not have enough to do with that first group. We do have 2 more companies going in, though. Now we'll move forward and start taking out his artillery with grenades. And then once we secure all of this, then we've got to start bringing in our reinforcements. We've got room for 6 more companies right now. Okay, we're starting to get into view of C now, and we can see he's got some elite British infantry there, as well as some mortars. We're going to smother everybody in artillery fire. Maybe more than once before we launch any kind of an attack. Not sure why those guys got out of the trench in the first place. Alright, I'm going to hold back the tanks until we deal with the mortars. Okay, we're going to try to get into these front trenches. I don't want to send my tanks while those mortars are there. But he's got elite British infantry in fortified trenches. And unfortunately, I have to go out in the open to do this, which is not working particularly well at the moment. Got plenty of supply left, though. I think 4 companies ought to be enough to finally overwhelm the British elite, and it did. But I don't have a lot available over here now. Let's go ahead and send these guys forward. We'll start getting ready to regroup. Okay, we're going to try to move under the cover of this artillery to try and get in close to take out these mortars. Once we get the all clear, there we go. Now we can start dropping grenades on those mortars. But of course he's firing right back at us because those trench mortars are pretty tough, so I'm not sure how successful this is going to be. Successful enough. Artillery can finish the job. There we go. There's a machine gun back here too. So let's send the tanks over that way. Start dropping artillery on that machine gun. I don't have much in the way of infantry up here at the moment. I need to send in reinforcements. Looks like they're going to come from a couple different ways, though. Oh, that would be flamethrowers. Was not expecting them to have flamethrowers, but they absolutely do. Oh my gosh, that's intense. Ah, technology. Wow, for flamethrowers, intense, really intense. All right, stop. Let's get some more artillery going here. Still got quite a bit of supply. I'm gonna lose this last tank before long. Oh, they requested to surrender. Yes, please. And with that, the encirclement is complete. That's huge. I'm hoping that's going to dramatically increase the rate at which we can lower his national will. But I've never done it before, so I don't know what's going to happen. But that's another huge victory for us. So let's see where that puts us on the map now. Okay, let's see where that puts us. Encirclement complete. San Menehould and Verdun are encircled. What does that mean moving forward? Let's find out. Will the stars start dropping? Alright, we'll auto-resolve this minor loss. I'm not too worried about a minor loss, because that drops national will on both sides. I'm not going to worry about fighting that. I want to see what happens to Verdun and St. Menehould now that they're surrounded. If anything at all. Hello, girls. So yeah, we're expecting the Americans to jump in on this thing, but all right. So yeah, he has no supply. So I wonder if that just means that what the situation now entails is that it's going to be easier to attack these places because of his lack of supply. But it looks like I have a lack of supply too. A major loss. That's really strange. Not sure why that would be. That would be a stalemate. That doesn't help us. How about if we attack from here to over there? Same thing, stalemate. For some reason... Oh, you know what? Taking new territory means we need to build supply depots and field hospitals. Forgot to be doing that. Okay, so after a turn, it does start reducing those stars. So one more, and we'll have St. Menehould for the taking. In the meantime, we can just kind of sit tight, I think. I'm working on continued tech for the tanks, which is going to allow some more upgrades, including a mechanic garage, which increases the supply granted by tank battalions and reduces the replenishment cost of surviving tanks by 40. So we can actually raise that up twice. Can't do that too many places, though. But honestly, I'm just going to sit tight and try to take these territories if I can. Although we know the Americans are going to be coming at some point, unless he has to do something to make that happen. Maybe they won't because the national will's so low. I don't know. French have fielded a new tank that is much faster than the British tank and has a rotating gun rather than fixed positions. It's proving to be an annoyance, and we must convince the French that these tanks are not worth producing. So we have to defeat some of them. But for now, we're just going to try to starve out St. Menehould. All right, so a few things have happened in the intervening turns, including him actually punching back through because I had a lack of supply in one area, and I'm not sure why that happened. But I've unlocked storage building, which gives me supply depot level 3. I've also got recruitment, which gives me 4 new infantry corps. So you can see here, he broke through the Bar-le-Duc. There was nothing I could do. He attacked from multiple sides, and I just didn't have the manpower or the supply to be able to hold it. But we are continuing to reduce his national will, and as long as ours stays ahead of his, that's all that matters. You can see the Americans have arrived. They're in Nancy. We're going to try to hit Bar-le-Duc again. We do have some ability to further unlock our supply depot and get a little more going there. That takes away most of what we had. And he's got a massive army in Bar-le-Duc there, so it's going to be harder to break through. And it looks like we can't get the amount of supplies I wanted to there. What about Chaumont? He's only got 1 star there. If we could break through there where he's only got 3 corps, that might help. Okay, so this map's definitely a little different than the last one we were on. It's kind of a more southwest-northeast divide. So you can see I'm loading up as heavily as I can on the right side. The problem with this map is there's no good way to put my artillery in such a way that all of the artillery can cover all of the spots. So I've got artillery for each side, but no more than maybe 2 or 3 for each side. So it's going to make it a little trickier to be able to cover this. But I think we ought to be able to take them out. Okay, the lines are pretty close here, and you can see here, if we can get into that front line trench, everything else gets a little easier because they're pretty well connected the way that they've got them designed here. So there's not going to be a lot of ground to have to cover in this case. So what we've got to do is we've got to start hitting the front line area with artillery as quickly as we can, but we've got to use the artillery that actually can cover, which in this case looks like it's only 2. This is going to be tricky because no matter what we do, the rear lines are going to be able to hit us. I can't use gas just because I don't have enough. I don't have enough supply to be spending 80 on a gas attack. So this is going to be tough just because it's going to be tough to get through the lines. With the massive amount of fire we're going to be under.
Feuerstellung einnehmen! Wir haben neue Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen! Wir haben neue Befehle. In Stellung gehen!
We're definitely under fire already.
An der Linie! Bereit machen! Wir halten hier die Stellung! Achtung! Lauft! Feuerstellung einnehmen!
Alright, I think we're going to get there. We are going to definitely lose some men in the process, but we're going to be able to get our guys into the trenches. So that's the good news. Let's pause for a second because we got some units that aren't really moving here. There we go. Alright, time out because I want to see if any of my... Nah, they're not going to be able to reach over there. I was hoping maybe we could reach that side, but you can see where the reach is for that artillery. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do here. Interesting that this French company decided to get out of the trench. Yeah, we're losing a lot of guys.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuerstellung einnehmen. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Bereit machen. In Stellung gehen. Achtung. Bereit an der Linie.
He's definitely got mortars somewhere. Yeah, I can see the mortars now. Okay. We can just barely hit the one mortar with our artillery. Yeah, this is going to be really, really tough to win without tanks. Okay, we're sending in a bunch of conscripts to kind of be cannon fodder basically until we can bring our artillery to bear down on these mortars enough to take them out. These are all elite units. Oh, there's flamethrowers right there too. It's going to make it really, really hard to get them with conscripts. Conscripts are going to struggle mightily against elite units. Okay, so here they come. And we're just about to get our artillery back, ready to use again. Perfect. Can't hit directly on that one, which makes it a little tricky.
Bereit für Feuerbefehle. Wir haben unsere Ziele.
Wir haben neue Befehle. An die Linie.
2 conscript units will never take on this unit here. Oh man, those guys just, what in the world just caused those guys to scatter like that? They just all went flying. I don't know what caused that. What in the world? I have never seen that before. I don't know what on earth. Because regular artillery didn't do that, at least not earlier in the game. We finally took out one of the German mortar positions, though. What is causing that? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, you see this? These units just can't even begin to deal with elite units like that.
Die Arme hoch, Jungs! Wir haben neue Befehle! Wir haben neue Befehle! In Stellung gehen! Wir ergeben uns!
Wow.
Schwenkt die weiße Fahne!
I don't feel like this is making the progress we need it to.
Bereit an der Linie! Bereit machen! Achtung! Wir haben neue Befehle! Die Waffen nieder!
Trying to get some progress in this second line trench. Not sure we're gonna make any though. Alright, our artillery's ready again.
Ladet sie nach! Feuerwalze klar machen!
But again, we just can't
Feuer!
get quite the angle on that mortar that we need.
Mannschaften bereit!
This is a lot of supply and a lot of manpower we're using just to take B when we've still got 2 more to go.
Die Arme hoch, Jungs!
I think we might have to just call this one a day. Okay, so not a great choice by me to go that route, so I feel like we still have a ways to go before this thing wraps up. But the good news is we still have a good 200-point lead in the national will, which is really what determines who's going to win this thing. So it's almost as though we could just kind of wait it out and not keep launching attacks, and we would end up winning. Just because we've got, well, about 174 points ahead now on national will. So I guess we'll just keep researching. We'll keep building up and look for opportunities to win battles, and we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below, and we'll be back again soon. Thanks for watching.